Hello, I am Joe Rosen, president of Parkinson's Resource Organization, and I am bringing to you again things to know right now. If you like these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and be alerted on the newest video that we have, or go back and look at the ones that we've done already. I don't know, we probably have 12 of them there, each one giving you bits of information of things to know right now. So today, what would it look like for you or someone you loved if they were being abused? Or how would you know that? Or what would you do if you did know that? Who would you go to? Where would you go? So I had the great privilege today of asking these questions and getting the answers to these and more from Zoran Basich, who is an elder law attorney, practices elder abuse law in California, along with other elder law issues. But elder abuse right now seems to be at a high level. So Zoran, welcome to being with me today, and thank you so much. This is all new territory for us. We've got COVID-19, we have the Me Too movement, and now we have this other thing called elder abuse. How long have you been practicing elder abuse law?
Long time, about 30 years.
Short time in my life, but 30 years to some is long.
Which is unfortunate because that shouldn't be the case.
I know. And so is this the law that we're going to talk about, or the laws that we're going to talk about today? Are they virtually the same in all 50 states?
No, they're really very different because each state provides different remedies. California is pretty broad and very general, and it gives a lot of opportunity. The big problem is identifying the abuse. Abuse is so well hidden most of the time that you don't know when someone's being abused until it's way too late and the damage is often much done. And you have two types of abuse. You have financial abuse, and then you have physical abuse. Financial abuse is even harder to identify than the physical abuse. Because with the physical abuse, you'll see pictures, you'll see images on the screen if you're just simply limited to interacting like this. But you'll see black and blue. You'll see weight loss. You'll see things that tell you something is wrong. Financial abuse is a whole nother problem. It's hard to find. Often people you would least expect to be trusted are the most trusted, and the ones that are supposed to be loved ones are least trusted. So it's a scary place.
It is. I mean, those are two big ones, but we also know that there's even sexual abuse. I know that one because we had that issue come up in the office with somebody not too long ago whose husband was sexually abused in a care facility. Then we have abandonment issues, and I'm thinking today that we probably have more, even at least feeling abandoned because there's a lack of visitation, etc.
Can't go in to see people.
Pardon?
You can't go in to see people, and therefore you can't see what's going on with them, and that's really frightening for a variety of reasons, because they're understaffed, and the facilities that are out there managing, they're doing the best they can given what they're dealing with. The problem is they don't have enough staff, they don't have enough backup, they don't have enough support, and so you have people sitting in beds not being changed. One of the big issues for us all the time is lack of hydration. Most of these people are coming down with terrible infections because they're just not given enough water to manage their day. And if you have dementia, as you and I both know, the big problem is you don't remember to drink. You can put a bottle in front of somebody and they can look at it for the day and not drink a sip of it because it's just not something they think about doing. Unless you're there to force it or push it, as most of the situations are. Family goes in, they come home, they come in, they go, hey, he hasn't drank all day, let's have him drink something.
Now, I mean, this can obviously happen at home as well as in a care facility, so we should look at as elder abuse not just from care facility viewpoint, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's harder to identify at home because usually there's only one or two caregivers, no one really over there watching what's going on, no one overseeing. It's a problem. And again, being vigilant and being somewhat suspicious is not a bad idea.
Having that antenna up. So if somebody if somebody is thinking or believes that this abuse is going on, where do they go? Who do they turn to?
Well, they can always report it to the police. The police are overwhelmed at this point. You've got a number of different agencies you can go to, but at the end of the day, it's whoever can hear your complaint. The ombudsman's probably the weakest of all because they don't have a lot of authority. They don't have a lot of power. They don't really have much they can do other than point somebody else in your direction.
The ombudsman?
Yes.
Well, I thought the ombudsman could actually close a facility if they wanted to. I thought they had a lot of authority.
Well, it would appear that way, but when you're done with it, they're probably the weakest of all of the support systems out there. That doesn't mean that they're not a useful entity. They just don't have as many tools as they should have, and the ability to do more than they can do right now. They've been around 20, 25 years. And they've done wonderful things, but at the end of the day, they only have the authority handed to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So if somebody notices abuse going on, the first thing they do is call the police.
Either call the police or call basically any number of entities that are out there, including someone like you, who will reach out. And in fact, it takes a village to support a village, as you well know.
Thank you for saying that. It really does. I'm so glad that we have the Wellness Village, and I'm really pleased that you're a part of it because we need all the support and help that we can get in this area and the others. So, so now let me see, where are we going with this? So with COVID-19, and we're hearing about matters where the older and the infirmed person is allowed to die in order to try saving others. I mean, this is a huge dilemma in our states today.
Well, we're all facing
older abuse. Is this elder abuse? Yes,
older abuse is elder abuse. The problem is, how do you show it? How do you prove it? How do you identify it? It's the problem for lawyers, and the problem for prosecutors, and the problem for adult protective services is, how do you actually prove what's been done and why someone's been picked out and not given the care they need? Because no one's there really to speak to it. So it's more work, it's harder to prove, but the fact of the matter is it is elder abuse, very much so.
All right, so it's going to be interesting. Everybody's going to be very busy when the coronavirus lifts. I will tell you,
the world.
It's a changed place, but I think we'll go back to being more busy than we were before, even.
Well, we're seeing that. Joe, you've been around me a long time. We also help support getting people paid for the care they need, so that the families are not facing $15,000 a month in nursing home bills. And all of that has been kind of on hold. So all these families in a couple of months are going to start getting these bills for $45,000, $60,000 for every month that they have not paid for their care. And they're going to be facing this onslaught of debt. So it's another major issue that will actually come back to haunt everybody, and they need to start paying attention to it.
So when we finish this series of things to know right now, we've got another one already lined up on things to do right now and things to, and what did we learn through all of this, which is also an amazing area to go into. But so right now, the isolation is really big on people's minds because they can't go and visit their loved one.
Correct.
So talking to them by phone is probably a possibility. What else are you thinking of or suggesting to anybody when they say, oh, I can't go see my loved one right now, or they can't come out? What is your movement on that?
The video conferencing issue is probably a godsend because it allows for families to see what's going on at the facility. What really has to happen is back to your antenna. The family has to be looking for everything they can see on that picture. They can get a sense of how much weight loss there's been. They can get a sense of how dehydrated they are. They can get a sense of how confused they are. The more confused, probably the more dehydrated. There's a number of variables that kind of play dominoes, one on top of the other. So again, we're limited right now to what we can see on a screen. We need to be very, very visual about what's going on in that picture.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of time today because we're just doing these in snippets, but when we come back to talking with you, we want to talk about conservatorships is going to be an area we want to discuss. We want to talk about fiduciaries because we have fiduciaries that are trusted, some untrusted. How do we vet them? That kind of thing.
And and on that note, again, if these people get to this money and they spend it, the likelihood of you ever being able to collect it is almost non-existent.
Yeah,
so being on top of that topic is critical.
vigilant today is extraordinarily important. And no matter what we're doing as far as staying at home, and just stay on top of whatever you can. I will say that elder abuse is a crying shame. It's despicable. It's unwarranted. It's unwanted. And I need to tell our listening audience that there are resources that are available to them. There are elder law attorneys throughout the United States. There are, I'm sure in other countries, there are legal setups for helping people with elder abuse. And so the only thing we might want to leave somebody with today, Zoran, is if someone has a loved one in a care facility, or if someone, even at home, is watching a loved one who's feeling more isolated than normal because of COVID-19, maybe one of the things we could suggest that they do is get them some music of the kind that they liked best in their lives, and play the music for them. Music is very, very healing. Do you have any other suggestions, Zoran, or is there anything else specifically you'd like to add today?
The three things I want them to pay attention to is bed sores, because one of the big problems, whether they're at home or whether they're in a nursing home or any other facility, is if someone is not watching over bed sores, they're going to basically become toxic, and at some point it will probably kill them. So when you're limited to just a screen, you might want to ask the person where mom or dad or your loved one is to take that screen and go around and take a look at the bottom and look at the sides and look at the heels and look at the areas of that family member. Because if there are bed sores, that's a critical problem and one that has to be handled immediately. Because the sooner you get that dealt with, the better the results are going to be. So bed sores is a major problem. Keeping people hydrated, major problem, whether they're at home or in a nursing home. You've got to push that water, because that's what helps heal the bed sores and also helps them from developing all kinds of infections. So those two categories are critical. And number three, everybody needs to remember that the Adult Protective Services can come in and actually look at you at home and look at you with a jaundiced eye to make sure you're taking care of mom or dad. And if you're not doing a good job, or if money's disappearing, you're going to have a real major problem on your hands very quickly. So
well, I think Adult Protective Services would remove them, would remove the cared for person from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've seen that happen many, many times.
We have too, and it's very hard to get them back on track if there is a back on track.
Correct. So again, keeping an eye on things is a critical issue.
Yeah. Zoran, I am so grateful for your time this morning. I know that we can tell our listeners that if you need to reach out to Zoran Basich or anyone like him, go to the Wellness Village on the Parkinson's Resource Organization website and find that help. If you don't find them there, call us. We will find the person for you and put you in touch. We just wish everybody to stay healthy, stay safe, and stay vigilant until we get through this. And again, Zoran, thank you so much.
No worries. And if anybody has a question that they need answered, we're around to answer.
You got it. All right. Appreciate you a lot. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.